Hey guys, I wanted to put this video together to show you a foolproof way to make a double inverted flare. Yes, I know there's tons of videos out there that show you how to make an inverted flare, and all of you have tried it, and sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. This is the foolproof way. It's just one extra step that needs to be done to properly make that flare form flawlessly. It'll work every time, I guarantee it. Okay, this is the step everybody's skipping. It's not 100% necessary, but if you're buying the budget kind of tools, this will get you by just fine. It'll save you a ton of money. Your standard 3/16" brake line right here, your brake line ferrule, we're going to slide that over top at first. That way you're not upset at the end when it's not on there. We're going to take a propane torch. This is an absolute must-do. Do not skip it. We're going to take just the tip, right up here, just the tip of this guy, and we're going to get it, right on the verge of red hot. About like that. You can see she's glowing just a little bit. Don't overheat it. We're just taking care of just the tip up here. And what that's going to do is soften up the metal a little bit and make it form a little bit easier for you. Okay, most of the rest of this process is the same you've seen a million times before. We're going to take our standard little brake line clamp thing, whatever the hell you want to call this thing. We're going to slide it right through the right piece. We're going to let that stick through. And every one of these is a little bit different, but right about 1/8 of an inch. 1/8. A lot of people are saying 1/4. You're insane. That's way too much. You'll make a ridiculous looking flare. 1/8 of an inch. Get that clamped in there real good and tight. Once she's clamped in there, make sure it's tight. Very tight. Take your tools. You don't have to use a vise for this. I'm sure it'll make it a little easier, but when you're working on the car, you got to get used to this thing banging around underneath the car. You can't just take all your brake lines over the vise and sit there and screw with them. So get used to holding this thing in your hand. First thing we're going to do is we're going to make a bubble flare. Use a bubble flaring tool. Don't skip this process or you're not going to have a double flare. Put the bubble flaring arbor on there, nice and tight. We're going to come back with an anvil and we are going to get it on there properly. This one here, particular kind, screws on the end. These are a little bit easier to use, the ones that screw on. There's two different kinds. You got the anvil with the pointing, you got the anvil that actually screws right on. These ones screw directly on, nice and tight. This thing's like $9 or $10 on eBay. You don't have to go out the Mac tool truck and drop $140 on a set of tools. These work great. Just don't skip these processes I'm giving you. And we're going to go ahead and tighten that dude all the way down. Nice and tight. You're not going to over tighten it unless you put too much line on there. If at the end it all looks silly and bulky, it's because you put way too much tubing sticking out there. 1/8 inch is more than enough. So we're going to pull that bubble flaring tool back off. You barely even see just the slightest little bubble. It's barely even noticeable. It's just enough. That's all you need. You're going to come back with your inverted flare tool. This little guy here, it'll go on there, nice and neat. Come back with the second anvil. Drop it straight down there on top. Whoop. Make sure she's centered. Kind of stubborn here. Here. Nope. There we go. Centered in there in the anvil. We're going to crank that down all the way. Tight as you want it. You don't have to get crazy, but it needs to be tight. It'll stop. There it is. Pull that back off there. Pull this back apart. And there you have it. A double flare. See how nice that is? Just like the ones you buy at the store. It's not all funny shaped. It formed perfectly neat on there. It's all about tempering the end of this. If you don't temper it, It'll be all marshmallowed. It'll get all kinds of marks on here. They'll slide out of your clamps. Just temper that deal a little bit and you'll be super happy. It'll work great for you every single time. You will never fail.